You said you'd partner with her and give her $100 million. That's the biggest offer that she's gotten. So
if she would have let me be her agent, I would have in a second. And if she's like, I'll start a new league with you, I would get her whatever you want.
Breaking news. Caitlin Clark just got an offer so massive it's shaking the entire WNBA to its core. Dave Portnoy, backed by a group of billionaire investors, has officially put $100 million on the table if Clark decides to walk away from the league. Not a rumor, not speculation, a legitimate record-shattering business proposal that could permanently alter women's basketball history. It's bold, it's disruptive, and it's centered entirely around one woman, Caitlin Clark.
If Caitlin would start her own league with you, I'd give her $100 million and I have as many billionaires as you needed to start a league.
Portnoy, like millions of fans who actually understand what's going on, knows the truth the WNBA refuses to admit. This league only has a heartbeat because of Caitlin Clark. Period. Without her, the ratings vanish, the ticket sales evaporate, and the cameras stop showing up. But instead of protecting their biggest star, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert has spent the season undercutting her, belittling her accomplishments, ignoring the foul treatment she's received, and letting jealousy run unchecked. That's why Portnoy's move isn't just about money. It's a declaration of war. He's saying exactly what fans have been screaming all year. Caitlin, you don't need them. Build your own empire. If you've ever thought Clark should walk away and let the WNBA deal with the fallout, then let us know down in the comments below.
If Caitlin Clark said, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home and I'm starting my own league, the WNBA would be done in 2 seconds. You don't think Caitlin Clark could line up billionaire investors and start and just get all these players to come with her if they're going to pay a lot more? Of course she would, but for some reason, they want to alienate her. It's like they want her to suffer coming in. You just never seen anything like it where the commissioner doesn't seem to value the stars or the golden goose.
But here's what makes this even more fascinating. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment hot take from Portnoy. It was calculated, intentional, and backed by a plan. He's not just throwing numbers around for headlines. He's laying out an actual blueprint for Caitlin Clark to launch her own basketball league. He's done the math, he's secured investors, and the scary part for Engelbert? It all makes sense. You can hear it in his tone. This wasn't a rant, it was a pitch. And after hearing him, it's impossible not to wonder if Clark herself is already thinking about it. If she takes this deal, it's not just the end of a player's WNBA career. It's the beginning of the end for Cathy Engelbert's leadership. Now, if you know Dave Portnoy, you know he doesn't bluff. The man built an empire by turning controversy into currency. He's loud, he's polarizing, but when he makes a promise on national television, he follows through. That's why this isn't just smoke. This is a genuine threat to the WNBA's survival. Portnoy is a businessman with a track record of turning bold ideas into billion-dollar realities. And now, he's aiming that energy directly at a league already cracking under its own incompetence. For the first time, the WNBA is staring down someone with the money, influence, and fan loyalty to actually compete with them.
I think if she truly was like, I'm out of here, I'm starting my own league, she'd have people lining up, including myself, and she would put the WNBA out of business. I really do believe that. I think she's that powerful for the whole league.
And he's not backing down. Portnoy didn't just announce the offer. He's campaigning for it. He's practically daring Caitlin Clark to take it, framing it as a chance to free herself from a league that's never truly supported her. You could see the conviction in his voice. This wasn't marketing. It was a challenge. He knows the WNBA is built on a shaky foundation, and all it takes is one superstar to walk away to send it crumbling. Clark is that superstar.
Money talks. Like if you get the money lined up and you get the superstars, like, oh, you can only make $1 million here, you can make $5 million with our league. I think it would work.
I mean, when she was golfing, originally when she did that little celebrity golf thing, it wasn't going to be televised. And there were so many people emailing them saying like, can we see this? Like, how can we see this? And then all of a sudden it was on television. And so even that in itself, it's like Caitlin, she hit somebody with the golf ball.
Yeah.
That's like, she's not, you know, it's not like she's this phenomenal golfer that, no offense, Caitlin, but like.
she would be top 3. Like if I could just be like, hey, I want Barstool to rep you and have the rights to like use your marketing, and she would top the line, male, female, any. I believe that's how powerful she really is.
But before we break down every line of Portnoy's pitch, let's talk about what led to this moment. Because this deal didn't come out of thin air. It's the direct result of the WNBA's failure to respect and protect the one athlete responsible for their record-breaking season. Cathy Engelbert's leadership has been nothing short of tone-deaf, and her latest blunder may have finally pushed things too far. Just a few days ago, Minnesota Lynx star Napheesa Collier dropped an absolute bombshell in her exit interview. She revealed a private conversation with Engelbert that should have stayed behind closed doors. But once it got out, it exposed everything wrong with the WNBA's leadership. Collier claimed that Engelbert told players they should bow down and be grateful for everything she's supposedly done for them. That alone is arrogant enough to tank a commissioner's credibility, but it gets worse.
I sat across from Cathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them.
According to Collier, Engelbert went even further, saying Caitlin Clark should be thankful to the WNBA because, in her words, every brand deal, every sponsorship, every dollar she earns is only possible because of the league. Imagine that. The commissioner of a struggling league taking credit for the fame, the work ethic, and the cultural impact of the one player who saved her job. Let's be clear. That is one of the most delusional, self-serving statements any sports executive has ever made. It's not just disrespectful, it's insulting to the fans, the sponsors, and the athlete who single-handedly carried women's basketball into the mainstream spotlight. Caitlin Clark didn't become a global phenomenon because of the WNBA. The WNBA became relevant because of Caitlin Clark. The backlash was instant. Social media went nuclear. Fans demanded Engelbert's resignation.
That's a mentality driving our league from the top. We go to battle every day to protect a shield that doesn't value us. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them. We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world.
Then came the twist that made the entire story explode. While fans were still processing Cathy Engelbert's tone-deaf remarks, a strange question started popping up all over sports talk shows and social media. Was there actually a shred of truth in what she said? That curiosity turned into a full-blown investigation. Analysts began combing through ratings charts, sponsorship reports, ticket data, and revenue graphs. And what they uncovered was devastating for the league's credibility. The numbers didn't prove Engelbert right. They proved just how completely wrong she was.
Do you give Cathy Engelbert credit for the TV deals that she has struck, or does all this kind of lead to her demise?
No, I give her no credit for anything she struck because as far as I know, it was a struggling league until this new class of rookies came out. And I mean, listen, this may say a lot about my WNBA knowledge. If you threw Asia Wilson's name at me like 2 years ago, I'm not sure I really would have known who that is. I certainly would have known who Napheesa Collier is. Like, yes, I knew the bigger stars, and those are as big, but like I'm talking to Diana Taurasi, but I wasn't locked in on this league. Everything has changed.
That's when Dave Portnoy stepped in and delivered the knockout blow. His response wasn't an emotional rant. It was a scalpel cutting straight through the WNBA's PR spin. The WNBA's been around for decades, he said. Nobody cared. Nobody watched. Nobody bought tickets. Then Caitlin Clark shows up, and suddenly, everyone's paying attention. Brutal honesty, backed by receipts, and he's right. The data speaks for itself.
The ratings show it. The interest shows it. We're talking about it. You turn on Fox Sports, you talk, or ESPN, they talk about the WNBA a lot. That was never the case like 3-4 years ago.
I mean, last season was insane, and you can look at the ratings too. And I think there was like the fevered numbers actually were better than some NBA teams' numbers when it came to viewership last season. And so like the numbers are there.
Look at the Indiana Fever's numbers this season. They weren't just good, they were unprecedented. Some Fever games beat NBA broadcasts in viewership. Think about that. A newcomer leading a previously struggling franchise pulled in bigger audiences than established men's teams. That's not hype, that's history. When Caitlin takes the court, arenas fill, sponsors line up, and TV cameras multiply. When she's out, the energy evaporates. The league can deny it all they want, but pretending Caitlin Clark isn't the reason for the WNBA's surge is like pretending gravity's optional.
I noticed when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
And instead of embracing the phenomenon, Cathy Engelbert keeps trying to bury it. Her leadership has become a case study in insecurity. Rather than building the league around its obvious star, she spent the season insisting the league doesn't need her, desperate to prove parity where none exists. That kind of ego destroys empires. Caitlin Clark is a generational force, the once-in-a-lifetime catalyst every sport dreams about. Instead of celebrating her, Engelbert seems terrified of her shadow. Sure, it might be uncomfortable that one player holds this much power, but it's also the biggest gift the WNBA has ever received. A smart commissioner would have built momentum around her, fixed the officiating crisis, elevated the broadcast quality, and treated fans like stakeholders instead of statistics. Engelbert did the opposite. Pride over progress. And now, with Portnoy dangling $100 million, she's paying the price for her arrogance. Because here's the truth. The WNBA didn't create Caitlin Clark's fame. Caitlin Clark created the WNBA's relevance. If she walks, she takes the entire spotlight with her. Fans, sponsors, networks, and all.
These are the same players who have essentially tried to run Caitlin and her fans out of this league, including me. I don't make it about me, but if you recall, and I will make it about me, when I went to the Fever Chicago game, they launched an investigation saying I was doing monkey calls, which is the most outrageous thing in the history of the world because of the Jumbotron, and a league that'll say Indiana Fever fans are bad and we're doing investigations with no proof, no nothing, and have never stuck up for Caitlin. And you've had players be like, it's not about her, why she get all the attention? But then they don't complain when they get private planes from Caitlin in the new media deals.
What's astonishing is how blind the league remains to that reality. They've been handed a golden ticket and are somehow managing to set it on fire. Instead of honoring the athlete who revived them, they're publicly belittling her and mocking her supporters. It's corporate self-sabotage in real time, like watching someone saw through the branch they're sitting on and brag about the craftsmanship. That kind of delusion is exactly what triggered Portnoy's viral declaration. His $100 million offer wasn't impulsive. It was the breaking point for every fan who's watched the WNBA repeatedly trip over its own ego. He simply said out loud what everyone already knew. The league doesn't deserve Caitlin Clark.
They've alienated an entirely new fan base, and it's almost like the old guard have consistently, we want the credit, we don't want to share in the pot. So Nafisa is correct, and she's been saying those things from the jump, but I find it curious, a lot of the players who don't seemingly equate embracing all these new fans with bigger contract deals, bigger money, are now agreeing with her. It's both. The referees stink. Everything about the league, the way they run it and market it, stink. The way they treat their fans, stink. So all of this is true.
And make no mistake, Portnoy's move wasn't sentimental. It was strategic. He sees what Engelbert can't. Women's basketball is exploding in value. The attention, the numbers, the engagement, all on an upward curve. For an investor, that spells opportunity. He compared the moment to buying in early on a booming market, whether it's tech, crypto, or sports entertainment. In his eyes, Caitlin Clark isn't just an athlete. She's a cultural and financial revolution waiting to be built around.
Dave, right now amongst the billionaire class, sports seem to be like the next big investment wave, right? Especially with all other entertainment kind of going AI. Like, this is going to be where human beings are still telling stories on the field, on the court, where everybody wants to put in their money.
Unlike the bureaucrats running the WNBA, Portnoy actually has a vision. He didn't throw out a fantasy headline for clicks. He laid out a full business model. A league that markets its stars properly, delivers competitive games, and respects the audience's time and money. He described it simply: put Caitlin at the center and the rest will follow. Because the demand is already there, the league just refuses to meet it. It doesn't take an economist to figure it out. Caitlin Clark equals packed arenas. Caitlin Clark equals national headlines. Caitlin Clark equals broadcast ratings that rival the NBA. Center a league around her, and the money practically prints itself. That's what makes Portnoy's proposal so dangerous for the WNBA establishment. It's not a wild dream, it's business logic. His pitch was a mirror, forcing Engelbert to see what she's been denying. Without Clark, there's no product to sell.
They got to clean up the league. The refereeing is atrocious, and you can't.
What do you think is the change there?
You got to let your superstars be superstars. You can't let your best players be getting mugged. Freedom of movement, things like that. Like, people don't want to. There's a reason why everyone's hurt. Like, protect your players. Like, it's not in the NBA. Yeah, okay, fine. In the beginning, like, Jordan was getting hammered, but like, you don't want.
But they changed the rules.
Correct. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay to be like, we want Caitlin or Paige to shine. Like, that helps the game. Let your superstars be superstars. That's what we want to see.
Then came the jaw-dropping part. Portnoy stopped talking about the league and started addressing Caitlin directly. He compared her current sponsorship income with what she could earn if she partnered with him. And by his math, her current deals are pocket change compared to what's possible. The message couldn't be clearer. She doesn't need the WNBA. The WNBA needs her. And if anyone doubted he could fund it, Portnoy was ready with receipts of his own. He said billionaires are already lined up, ready to invest the moment Clark says yes. Real investors who understand that women's basketball could become a global powerhouse if someone competent were running it. This isn't a publicity stunt. It's a hostile takeover in the making. So step back and look at the bigger picture. Portnoy isn't bluffing. He's dead serious, and for the first time, Caitlin Clark holds absolute leverage. She could reshape the entire sport overnight. Walk away from the WNBA, start her own league, and every fan, sponsor, and camera would follow. Because fans don't follow the league, they follow her. She is the league's oxygen. Without her, the entire system flatlines.
If Caitlin would start her own league with you, I'd give her $100 million, and I have as many billionaires as you needed to start a league.
Which brings us to the question everyone's asking. What does Caitlin Clark actually think? Has she responded? Is she entertaining the idea? For now, she's stayed silent. No official comment. Portnoy himself admitted she seems locked in on her WNBA mission, focused on her teammates, on the fever, on winning. That loyalty, that focus, is exactly what makes her so rare. She's still giving everything she has to a league that keeps taking her for granted. But loyalty has a limit. And every insult, every botched call, every patronizing quote from Cathy Engelbert inches her closer to the door. The clock is ticking for the WNBA to fix this before their superstar decides she's had enough. Because while Caitlin continues to play with humility and heart, the league's leadership keeps proving it doesn't deserve her.
Very rarely, if ever, publicly says anything that like should cause any waves. She's kind of like been a good trooper for the Fever and the league.
So now the WNBA stands at a crossroads. On one path, rebuild, center everything around your greatest player, and finally start treating her like the foundation of the sport. On the other, keep pretending you're the reason she's famous, and watch her take her fans, her sponsors, and her billion-dollar influence somewhere that will. Because if Caitlin Clark ever accepts that $100 million offer, it won't just make headlines. It'll cause a seismic shift across professional sports. It would be poetic justice, the league that disrespected her brought to its knees by the player it tried to minimize. The moment the WNBA finally learns that you can't build a future by alienating your present. So what do you think? Should Caitlin Clark keep carrying a league that keeps dragging her down? Or walk away and change the game forever? One thing's certain, the power no longer belongs to the commissioner. It belongs to Caitlin Clark. And if she ever decides to use it, the WNBA as we know it won't survive the shockwave. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.